everyone. This is another wonderful week, and we will having interesting panel discussion here. And our first speaker is dear Wei Ling, and let me tell you a few things about her. Her nickname is Ria, and Ria is the kind person who volunteers for 5 years straight to the Singapore Lodge. Clearly, she is in it for a long haul and probably has all the secret shortcuts. When she's not diving deep into Theosophy, she's channeling her energies to a teacher assistant in special education. With her adventurous spirit, and trust me, I know that I have seen how she's traveling around India, like wow. And her kind heart, she's basically a real life superhero, and just perhaps without the cape. So, without further introduction, please, Chair, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Mary Kay, for the wonderful introduction. Okay, I shall begin. What inspired me in Theosophy? So firstly, when I stepped into the Singapore Lodge, my inspiration were the people who are like so calm and stable. They are not very affected when scenarios change them. So they seems like my small idols where I look up to them for like guidance or how I could behave so that I stay calm and peaceful. So because of the people, I stayed at the Singapore Lodge. And then because with the people, you still have to attend the lectures regardless. So then we go for the lectures, and the lectures in the course of Theosophy, which is a basic course in Theosophy. Back then, it was mostly relevant to Theosophy. So we have the privilege to really understand Theosophy at the deeper level, and also understand that and also have many topics that really garner a lot of interest. So it's up to like different planes of nature, then after that into our different types of bodies, and then there are really like a study on consciousness and how to meditate, and also up to the to like doing group service in the form of meditations. So there are very various types of various types of knowledge that we are learning from, and the activities also that helps us deepen our knowledge in Theosophy. So that is one that makes me drawn to Theosophy, and also makes me interested in reading books. So don't really have interest reading books at my that age, because I am very poor in English. So when I look at English, my results were really bad. But when I came to Theosophy and learn and start reading the books, I realized that my English language actually improved over time, and I start to understand like the text of Theosophy, which is Old English, and it's like even like Shakespeare's quotes on someone's arm. I look at it and say, "Eh, this is an Old English text," and I actually could understand what is it written on someone's arm, and I say, oh, it meant this way, which a lot of people have to use the ChatGPT or Google because they don't understand Old English. So that's one of the privilege of reading the Theosophical books. And then after that, we also had a very extensive library where you can borrow like books that are not available in some of the lodges. So it's like our greatest asset in the Singapore Lodge is its library, its books that are some of them are like 100 years old, still intact, and then some of the pages are just worn out or coming off, but still we could really read it. And there was a book about the wheel of rebirth, which talks about past life, and that book was like borrowed and circulated all around us because it was so interesting. But I can't really remember the full name of it. But if I really could remember, I will just bring up in the forum again. So that was very interesting. But then when I get more sincere books and people, right, I realized they were just the surface of what Theosophy really is. So a true learner is one that really explores the conflicts and pains in the environment I'm in. And really hits me hard right this year was like the people I really love the most in the stage of my life, the Theosophical members who had supported me when I was at my worst moment 3 years back, a few years back when I was struggling in my career life. And then suddenly the interactions I have really brought out some of my wounded parts that I never seen before. And it's like a hidden world where, you know, your feelings starts to show up uncontrollably and force me to take charge of my own inner being, the growth of my own inner being. So it was like how I've been always asking people, what about this? What about that? I don't have that privilege anymore. I have to find it within myself and I have to be more independent. So this is called taking charge of my own inner being. And I start to really understand what am I. Like I used to really because you know at the initial part I go into Theosophy, I see them as idols, so I start to like copy them or start to being like them. But then I realized ultimately I wasn't really them and how I should be myself. So I have to be more authentic to myself. So I really from that experience I understand who am I, and then also how am I able to understand things. So I also find techniques to help me settle my emotions when I really feel sad, when I really different from them. I feel very different. I feel like I'm more emotional while they seem so calm and poised. And then I really realized that when I really tried to be them, it only pushes me away and make me feel like I'm a pest instead of a person. So what it really brings up to me is that I have to really be true and then kind. So then I really didn't really start blaming them because I realized that they are just showing me, right, how authentic they were. They were not compromising themselves to really assist people that don't really fit in, and gave me a way to really respect my own energies and indirectly shows me who are the right group of people that I will meant to gel with and how to be authentic myself. So if I ever really try to fit in, I'll never be able to find out who am I and I'll never be authentic to myself. And as heartless as it sounds, this is the way to show me the passage way of my growth. So I went on a hunt like this the early part of the year for teachers that can help me bring about ideas and solution, and then realized that this is quite interesting that they have different ways of interpreting how to find out themselves. So there's one healer that goes about saying that your life is in seasons. So how it is like spring, summer, winter, and autumn. So you just follow that in follow that season in your whole emotional cycle. So what it was is that whereas as a female we have the monthly cycle, so that is winter. So it's like how it's like preparing for the monthly cycle. The initial part of the monthly cycle is they call it autumn, where you see things around you, leaves are falling. So it's like how you as a person can let go of things, people that doesn't serve you anymore, things that you have in your thoughts that doesn't serve you, and then you let go. And then it's preparing for release when it comes to the cycle where you shed blood is the cycle of winter, where everything is cold and your emotions are unstable. When people come to you, you feel like you feel anxious, you feel like you feel cold, or you feel like you didn't want to talk to them. So that's the winter stage. Then after that it's spring, where everything starts to blossom. So it's like what you have worked for when you release starts to come to you into new ideas, getting new projects, or seeing how you can maneuver your way after you let go of all that doesn't serve you. And finally the summer is a bloom. So these are the concepts that I learned from one healer, that as an example of the ways that I went to look for ideas on how I can manage my life better. So this is just an example that I try to understand myself and acknowledge that I have to use various ways to know myself better. So the solutions to overcome my own difficulties then become meaningful as truth unfolds and bring about a storyboard of how things will turn out in a different way, and allows a brand new way of seeing things to throw away the old and embraces the new, and it's like things in a pot will throw out for new energies to emerge. So it's a constant change and reflux that I experience and shift and grow. So the day will come where there's true acceptance, and slowly I would reunite with the ones that hurt me, who are really the true souls that grew me into who I really am today. So I feel like sooner or later, I realized that I don't have to hate the world anymore, but to accept the experience for what it is. So in relationships, you don't really need anyone, as you have to first understand you are complete yourself and can only complete yourself. So we are only in love with the feeling the other party gives us, and it gives us just more opportunity to learn from interacting with other people to know myself better. That's how it inspires me. Thank you.
Thank you so much. That was so beautiful. Thank you. So, next, I'm going to tell you about this wonderful young man, Francis. Francis Lim is a marketing and branding wizard by day, and by night, he's a deep diving explorer of the mind's mysterious interests. When he's not busy making brands look good, you can find him untangling the scientific and spiritual implications of consciousness on his grand journey. Oh, and just to keep things interesting, he's also an executive committee member of the Singapore Lodge and moonlight as the vice chairperson of the Young Theosophist group in Singapore, and also a board member in Young Theosophist. And basically, he's just a finger on the pulse of both the market and the cosmos. So here you go, darling. The floor is yours.
Thank you. That's that's a nice introduction. Thank you so much. Yeah, so how Theosophy inspired me, there's actually a lot to say, right? That could be covered within 10-15 minutes. And I would say as a whole, I could start with something. I could start with why I got into Theosophy in the first place. Right, I was actually deep down crying out, like what is the meaning of life, right? There was a point, things starts to fall apart in my life at a point of time 5 years ago, right? And however much I can struggle or try my best to put everything together, it never failed to break down. Right, of course, then I understood the principle in Buddhism about impermanence, right? And nothing lasts forever. So deep down, I was crying for help, right? I was thinking, okay, I would really hope to know a group of people that are looking for answers for questions like that. And then 1 week later, I met Brandon. There's some powerful manifestation there just within a week, right? And of course, I think the the initial years of joining the Theosophical Society, a lot of the focus has been on myself. Right? We do meditations, we do all the different practices, we study. It's mostly to change our own vibration, or at least my own vibration, my own energy. Right? However much practice, there are so many practices in the world, right? All kinds of traditions, all of them really, really powerful. Effectiveness, I'm not too sure. For my case, my objective of seeking, right? But then I realized I can shift my energy and all the things a lot, but I still have a set of things or struggles that I still have to go through, right? And although I could hold a crystal, I can wear crystals, I can meditate for hours, but the problems in my life are still the same problem. It never go lesser, it didn't go bigger as well. And that's when I realized that it is really not so much about what I can practice in the sense of shifting my energy or gaining new understanding or knowledge of the esoteric tradition. I realized it is the growth from giving service to people or the society, not just the TS, but like the society itself, the world, is very key to understanding myself. Right? You see, when we are working for money or giving service for money, it's pretty difficult to see if we have any other kind of intention, right? So I'm just working for money. But when we are giving service for free, that's when we can see our true intention, right? Like, why am I frustrated? If I'm actually giving, there's a really, really big thing about giving or loving unconditionally, right? It's very much emphasized in a lot of the videos you can watch online, right? Unconditional love. I love you unconditionally, but you didn't give me this. It's not so unconditional. And that's where all these opportunities, right? When you're giving service, when you're frustrated, you're angry, you're annoyed, are really, really, really good opportunities to reflect and look at our own intentions. Right. And of course, apart from that, like service, apart from service, I think it's pretty much known in the TS. The other two things, right, is to study. That's 100%. Right. We go for meetings. It's always about study or sharing, discussion, and talks. Right. And of course, meditation. Right. So the thing is, I realized that it's a lot like how when we are standing on 2 feet, right? You will never find a chair with two legs. Okay. You will at least find a chair with 3 legs. Right, very good. You have a chair with 2 legs.
I will share you some design later.
Okay. If possible, that can stand by itself without the lower base area. But okay. That's a technical trick. But yeah, I think like having a three-legged approach or foundation is always the key, right? You will never see any structure that's built like a room, right? A house just with one wall. You at least have 3 corners to make a room, right? Right, you need an area and a height, right? You can't just create a room with one line. Yeah, that's the dimensional thing. And I suppose that, over the past 5 years has made me appreciate how all three of these come together, right? We can study, we can read a lot, but the thing is, it might be very surface. Right? Of course, there are times that we read books and we go back to the same book, and it just feels like, why didn't I read this before? Or at least the way I read it. And that's where meditation comes in importance, right? We can read, and of course, if we do read every day, and when we meditate every day, somehow the things that we acquire from the books or even talks gets a little bit of the contemplation in it. Like it takes part of the meditations. And then of course, being able to understand it can never champion pairing it with practical work. Right? That's how we do it in school, right? We have lab, right? So when we learn about practicing for example, the Noble Eightfold Path, practicing the principles that are taught at the feet of the master, it is often difficult for us to see that kind of context if we don't actually try and practice it. Right? What do you mean by discrimination? It's like trying to be biased or what, And then we start to see like, okay, discrimination is we sometimes need to know how much we can do before we are harming ourselves and someone else as well, and the people around us, right? So there's a lot of all these values that comes with all these three things: meditation, study, and service. And the thing is, honestly speaking, after I start to pair, I would say pair is two, I put all these three together, I feel like my life became way more peaceful than before. Right? Sometimes I'll just smile. Okay, it's weird, but just smile randomly, right? And I feel that could be the essence of any kind of spiritual seeking or practice. Right? Ultimately, we can be happy, but you can never be happy every single instance. They'll be down, you can go back to neutral, and then you'll be like, hey, why am I not happy anymore? And then you feel annoyed about this. And then you try to get happiness and it goes up and down. But peace is always the most sustainable one, I think. But yet again, when you're not as peaceful, you hope that you want to go back to peace again. Yeah, so like Theosophy gave me an opportunity to explore the deeper side of life through my own experience. So yeah, I think that's about it. It's a little bit anticlimax, but that's the conclusion that I have. Thanks. Mr. Coconut.
Thank you so much, dear. Thank you so much. That was so beautiful. Now, I would like to continue with our third speaker. And we're talking about Leota. When she's not flawlessly managing her education and legal business, Leota is channeling her energy into Theosophical Society, which she joins in February 2022. Her journey into Theosophy was sparked by Krishnamurti and apparently involved a series of divinely guided steps that led her straight to the global hotspots. The Theosophical Society's international headquarters in Adyar and the ITC in Naarden. And these trips were, shall we say, eye-widening experience for her. And now she's practically running the show in Australia, serving as a president of Theosophical Society Laws in Sydney, president of DOS, the Order of Service in Sydney, convention secretary and national youth coordinator of Theosophical Society in Australia, and of course, the World Federation of Young Theosophists board member. When Leo finds her path, she does not just walk it, she leads the parade. So, my dear, this is your turn, and the floor is all yours.
Thank you, Mary Kay. I think that's the introduction was really surprising to me. Do you use AI or you wrote it yourself? Because it sounds perfect. I can't believe like it sounds perfect like that. I don't think I couldn't expect that one. But thank you so much for having me here. Theosophy inspired me in a mysterious way. I joined TS in 2022, but actually I knew about Theosophy in 2021. And during that time, it was still during COVID. One day I just randomly ran into a YouTube video about a person. And I couldn't tell if that person is a man or a woman. So I was curious. So I clicked on the video. And I kept watching and watching for a couple of minutes. Couldn't even tell, oh my gosh, is it a man or woman? Or is that like a unisex or what? But before I could realize this is a man or a woman, I was hooked into the conversation. And that person was Krishnamurti. And the sentence that he struck me the most is that you are a bunch of memories. And then I went to find out more about Krishnamurti. And I found out about Madame Blavatsky. Oh, that was the time that I went to research a lot of controversial arguments about Madame Blavatsky. Some say she's a genius person. Some say that she's the most brilliant scam in the whole universe. Whatever way it is, I went to see The Secret Doctrine. And the first page of The Secret Doctrine, I saw the motto, there's no religion higher than truth. And I completely resonated with that one. And then I went to get a tattoo on my back with that motto, even way before I joined TS. And I believed that even if Madame Blavatsky is the most brilliant scam in the whole world, at least she's brilliant. Okay? At least she's genius. Whether she's a scam or not, it's my duty to find out. And then I went to TS Lodge in Sydney half a year later. Then I became a member. And I think that the lesson that I learned about Theosophy when I joined as a TS member, the biggest lesson that I've learned, just the word surrender. Surrender here doesn't mean that to let it go. Surrender doesn't mean that go with the flow. Surrender means, at least to me, and it works for me, is the surrendering of the lower self to the higher self. And that's the biggest lesson that I've learned in the first year that I joined TS. The second year, the third year, oh gosh, tell me, the lessons are much, much harder, more struggles. Then I start to learn about at the feet of the master, the golden stairs. I learned a lot about the principles of life, not just in the higher planes, but how we're going to live the principles in our physical plane as well. And so far, this year, I've learned a lot as well. I cannot say that all the experiences are pleasant. Some are pleasant, some are not. but it just emphasized the principles that I have learned about, and it just make me see clearly what it is, what is the flaws that I have in my personality, what are the flaws other people have, and what I'm going to do about it. Maybe the best way is just to not to waste my time and energy on things that I don't think that it will work greater and better for the majority. So Theosophy never ceases to amaze me or surprise me, even with very simple principles. My life has changed not just day by day, but second by second. So that's why until now, I am still inspired by Theosophy. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you so much, dear. Thank you. And now is the time when we can ask some questions of our lovely speakers. So do we have any questions that you want to ask right now? Or comments?
Smita, do you have any questions?
Yeah, she left a love heart in the comment chat box. So I guess her question is, what love? What is love?
Wow.
No, if it, I mean, everyone spoke very nicely. That was the thing. Nothing else, no questions.
Oh. Yes, well, I do have some questions, and while you will think about your comments and questions, I will start. I would like to first, I would like to first ask Wei Ling about volunteering work. Can you, like Francis says so nicely, that this volunteering work was the thing that really made him understand himself. And you really talk about so beautifully how you how the connection with other people is putting yourself to work with yourself and better understand yourself. But do you have the service part? I just wanted to ask.
Yes, I have the service part, but it's like really helping to clear up things and also to really engage all the new Theosophies coming into Singapore Lodge and like making them feel comfortable. And also sharing some knowledge if they need it, like sharing like this book is good and you can read it, or you can have this book because it's available for free for like collection, because there are some of the old books that were placed at the table where they can get it. Yeah, so these are the volunteering work. And also not forgetting like unlike me volunteering with you, with Mary Kay at Adia when I was there picking up the trash, which is like us going up every morning just to do something and then reward ourselves with the breakfast. These are the volunteering work that I've done. And okay, so it's like for this kind of work, it's like it's more of like picking up the trash and then putting it aside, and that the real one is to really see into the relationship, like all the conflicts that you have. So like when you are doing presentation, when you are trying to organize like this talk, the conflicts of like some people that you have chosen as a panelist didn't show up, or some people did not want to do it, and at the last moment, and you have to find a replacement. So I find that these are the work that you really get anxious and something you have to really work with as a coordinator. Yeah.
Wow, thank you for sharing that. there's so many other questions that raises, but I just ask one more from you. You said you suggest some books to newcomers. What are the books that you would suggest somebody who is like new to Theosophy and first time is coming?
Okay, so there was this book that I saw, I can't really remember, The Masters and the Path.
As a
But
first book.
yeah, that I introduced because it was there lying around, and I said this is a very good book because you will see like most of our lectures have this book. Yeah, so it was just lying there. And for those books that are available in the bookshop, I don't really recommend them first. I just let them get those books that are available, that is available for them to take, or either that go to the library and get their interest, what they like, and then introduce the books. Yeah.
Well, thank you. This is a really wonderful book, indeed. I was thinking, you know, the first time somebody, I don't know if they even like to read, I would suggest something smaller. But this is a really good book. Yeah. I would ask the same question from Leota and Francis. Which would be the first or the first few books that you would suggest somebody who is new to Theosophy?
I will always okay, there are a few, right? So there are some that likes to see more technical things, right? Diagrams and things like that. And for that I would show them Basic Theosophy by Jeffrey Hodgson. That's one. The first thing I will do is always open the page with all the 7 rays and all the corresponding things inside. And the 7 principles of men, I think. And also the first principle in Theosophy. Am I lagging? Okay. First principle in Theosophy. And if there are those that are more interested in the human bodies, then there will be the A Powers books, like not chakra, etheric double, astral body, astral plane, mental body, causal body. Yeah, so it's usually these few that people that are interested that comes to the lodge for the first time. It's typically books like that that I'll introduce to Leo.
Yes. Wow. This is like really also very like a little bit even complicated books, but like for introductory, somebody who is sincerely interested. I think what you said, that giving something that has like a table or like a figure and you can see and you can think about it. This is really good.
Yes. And one last thing, but I think there is another group of people that comes because they have lost people, loved ones. Right. So or they are trying to get over it. So we will, I think Wei Ling has mentioned the book Wheel of Rebirth by H.K. Chaloner. And then of course Reincarnation or Karma is by Annie Besant, and I think there's 2 versions of Karma, but both and Reincarnation. Yeah, that's all.
Wow. Thank you so much. Leo?
Yeah, I'm not a very diligent reader, so I like any books that are small, or you can call booklets. So I think the first one I picked was The 7 Principles of Men. And the next book that I would recommend, so it's a very small one by Annie Besant, very thin. And the second one, of course, At the Feet of the Masters, because after you read that one, you can immediately use it in your daily life. And if you struggle in life, you wonder what happened to you while you're unhappy, you can always go back to At the Feet of the Master and see what you have done wrong. So I think those 2 books, yeah.
Yeah, for the beginners, yes.
Mhm.
Now I'm curious. I don't know if I have read the Seven Principles of Man, but I really want to read. But at the feet of the master, oh yes, yes. I very much love this place where they say you can ask master how they would think and do in this situation. And if you do not have a master, try to think what they would think. And this is one of my, like, if I'm really, really in trouble, I think this suggestion alone has helped me a lot. So yes, definitely. It's those who do not know, At the Feet of the Master is like a small booklet. It seems like so like simple, like I know this, like why do I even read it? But at the same time, the truths that are there are so deep and worthwhile investigating. I very much like, Leo, what you said about surrender. That surrender is not like letting go or let's see where it goes, because oftentimes if we do that, we are seeing how our lower self is, oh, I would like to have this dessert, or oh, I would like to go this place, or oh, I don't want to this trouble with this thing. Like this is where, because we do not understand that we are not like the thoughts or like, but this really understand that the surrender is the surrender to lower to the higher. How do you want to comment it? Like, how do you perceive it?
Well, I think that in a practical way that I usually do is like just before you do something important, or you are pondering on something, it's hard for you to make a decision. You're really stuck and you want to find the answers. Before you go to sleep at night, you just need to meditate on it, just lying down in the bed, relaxing, pondering on a problem, and then surrender it to yourself, because the higher self at the end of the day is your true self. So all you need is just surrender yourself to your true self, or surrender yourself to your inner God, or to your higher self, whatever you want to call, and don't expect anything, because you will never know the next morning when you wake up, even though you don't know the answers, but you feel lighter.
Wow.
Because of feeling lighter, somehow you know how to fix it. Or maybe you feel lighter because in the end of the day, it's not even a problem. So that's another practical way that I do. Yeah.
I very much like this idea that you feel lighter, and maybe it's not in anymore even the problem. We in a previous session with Charil, we were discussing that sometimes when it's like really problem is overwhelming, it helps if you think, would it be still in a problem in an year or in 10 years or maybe 100 years? If I'm not here anymore, would it still be a problem, or 1,000 years? If it's not, then like, is it worth worrying about it right now? And yeah.
Yeah, that's right. So because it works for me. And if you want me to explain, I don't know how to explain, because I believe the universe works in a mysterious way. We don't know how, we don't know when, we don't know what, but somehow it will work. Yeah. So I think that, at least for my personal experience, and I think that with this practice, like surrender to yourself, you can even do it in your daily life as well.
This is so beautiful. I can't wait to try it.
Gerald has sorry, not a problem. Gerald has a question.
Please,
Not
please.
just to anyone, but one of the common threads I heard from all of the sharings is this is not a smooth sailing journey into Theosophy. There will be ups, but there are also many downs. What I wonder is that have you had any specific adversities or conflicts or challenges in your life? where you found a specific theosophical teaching had been really helpful in helping you to go through that.
Anyone who feel that any theosophical teachings have specifically helped them in a certain point of life?
Okay. Yes. Yes, Gerald. Yes. I'm going to share with you the golden stairs, the history of TS, how Madame Blavatsky, Annie Besant, and all the classic theosophical figures, how they did the TS work in the past, what they had to go through, and the principles and the golden stairs and benefit of the masters, they are the talisman for me to do the work. One example, in daily life, I'm running my own business. And for the nature of my business, there will be competitors. And not all competitors are pleasant competitors. They will do dirty marketing, this and that, to defame you, to steal your clients. I remember one day that I got something like that from another competitor. And I remember that I was so down, and Francis was there and tried to calm me, like try to soothe me down. But it was very, very, very sad. I can't believe that people can do that, you know. And in that night, when I went to bed, and suddenly I realized that, whatever Madame Blavatsky went through is much, much more than what I'm going through right now. And just a tiny bit of thing like this, it can stir me from inside out. I always think that I am a strong person. Am I really strong? If just a comment or just a gossip or just a rumor can actually stir me that much, that means I'm not that strong. So where's the strength? What is that? Then I learned it from about the golden stairs. The bravery declaration of principles, stick to the principles. And then the tolerance to personal injustice, stick to it. So for me, those two are the things that help me to get through that time. That's on the daily life. In TS work, even more. I expect that the TS, when I first joined, they are spiritual people. Maybe they're kinder, they're nicer, they know what they're talking about. It was just a dream. At the end of the day, Theosophical Society is still a society. Human beings are still human beings. Human nature hasn't changed. As the masters say, it hasn't changed at least since they were there all the way until now. Just a tiny bit maybe, but it stayed the same. Then I realized that it was my fault because I expected too much. I shouldn't have any expectation from the outer world. It's all how I see it and how I perceive it and how I work on myself. So rather than we having, unpleasant or nasty personalities, is a very good opportunity for me to look back at myself, at my weaknesses, and how I can improve it. Because the work is not difficult, only the people are difficult. And I am one of the people as well. So maybe I am not that easy, I'm difficult too. So if I can work on myself, becoming less difficult, maybe less a burden for the world. Just simple as that. Yeah.
Beautiful, thank you. How ironic that it is the Theosophical Society where you find it to be the best place to apply theosophical teachings.
That's right. It's a platform. It's the best platform for you to practice the principles. I think so. Because I think that in daily life, we're going to be drawn into all the rat race. We will forget the principle. But because it's in the TS, it's in the lodge, it's in the work, you have to be remembering the principles every single time you do something.
Me. I think it's not really just because it's the rat race and things like that. It's often the times that when we are going around our day-to-day stuff, all these are things, the reason why we choose with the way we live our life, all those are accumulations of conditionings. When we are actually doing work in the TS, there's literally things that you will never do outside. So it gives a very good environment to see the contrast. Right? So when we are in our daily lives, we are back into that state or mode, right? And then like sometimes you will just go too deep until you realize, oh my gosh, why have I done why have I gone to this extent? Right. Before I realized it. So it took a while before the awareness sets in. But we are in doing work in the TS. Even when you are giving service with your strength, right? Things that you might have learned and applied in your outside work, in your daily life, there will be a very strong contrast because it is a different situation. Not everyone has the same stake, right? When you are doing a business, you are working for someone else, everyone has a stake. Like, oh, I need to perform, I need to meet this KPI, I need to be able to deliver this during this for this deadline and things like that. Right? The TS is not the case. Right? Often than not, we do things a little bit more inefficient. But also, as what Pablo has mentioned, the TS is not supposed to work like a very efficient organization like Apple or whatever. It's not supposed to, because it gives chance for it gives a platform for the members or souls to be able to practice and learn new skills, and also to work with someone else, work with a group of people, of course, in a different environments. And the thing is, as much as we know, in the Singapore culture, we are super efficient. But when we do work with uh uh everyone from different culture, the mindset, everything is different, right? And the thing is, to them, maybe we are too intense, right? So it helped me to realize where did my own high standards for myself came from, right? Why am I so hard on myself? Why would I have like, oh, if we are going to do this, it only takes 1 day. But the thing is, why do we need to set it at 1 day? And if it is not done at that speed, what actually caused the frustration? And then you start to meditate and you start to think back again. It's like, oh, I know. It's because of conditioning from a young age. Right. And the thing is, I think back to Gerald's question, I think the principle of we are not the lower self, right? We are the higher self. I think that principle is the one that got me through most of the adversity from the understanding point of view, right? Like, oh, okay, like I know why this has to happen, because my personality can't take someone else seeing me as otherwise of what I thought of myself. Right. That's the first thing. But to going through in real time the crazy emotions, I think surrendering is the key. That's what Leo has mentioned. Surrendering is the key. But often than not, it takes too long for me to realize, okay, I need to surrender. Just keep dwelling in those swamps, right? So I think surrendering and knowing that we are not our emotions, body, and mind These are the key for me. Thanks.
Thank you. Wow, I'm most struck by this idea that the TS itself is a platform for us to be able to examine our own conditioning, like you say, or Leo was saying about that we are just a bunch of memories and conditioning.
Well, this one was shared by Pablo during a private meeting. That he said that in TS, you will find situations when you are thrown into a position that you have had no experience to do, how to do it before. So it's an opportunity for us to learn how to do it. I have witnessed this situation, and I myself, I was thrown into the position of the president of Sydney Lodge, and I was not prepared for it. And I've seen people, at least in TS Australia, they were somehow put into a position where they don't know finance. They will put into the position that need to make payments, invoice and stuff. People who doesn't know to do, let's say, lesson or something, they are forced into like a program, a committee or whatever. So there's a lot of things that people are thrown into a position because it's a platform for them to learn. So they can be well prepared and skillful in the future work of TS in the, next, I don't know how many lifetimes, 100 years or whatever. So that's a very beautiful idea that we should not expect too much because everyone is on a learning curve. However, to me, it doesn't mean that we don't uphold the principles. For example, okay, we can be easy with this and that, but then no exploitation of resources is tolerated. No kind of like sabotaging is tolerated because that is not the values that TS promotes. So I think that, there's a level of discernment there. And then we can say, oh yeah, we need to be compassionate, but compassionate needs to go with wisdom. Otherwise, it's going to be like a free run show. Everyone wants to do everything. So yeah, so this is what we've learned from the youth gathering, and Gerald missed that one, but don't worry, next time.
Next year.
Not next year. This December.
Yeah, this year.
Wait, there's one coming in December?
December, yes.
Oh, has it been publicized yet?
So,
Sorry?
no, it's always coming December, Cheryl, and everybody who's looking.
Oh, the Adia one.
Yeah, not Popular Center is not coming to Edya in December. Just the International Youth Gathering in December.
Yeah, I got that now.
But we have really nice programs actually for the coming one. And I think when the Congress is over, we will also let out some info about it so people can start registering. And
yeah, sneak peek for you, Gerald. We're going to have 2 guest speakers rather than 1. The first one is Kim Deal. So she's going to do meditation for us workshop. And then the other one is Simon O'Rourke. He's the National Education Coordinator for Australia. Very, very good. I don't want to bring I don't want the program to be like a lousy one, but at least it needs to, like, people can have some takeaway from it.
That's so cool. I'm looking forward.
dear Wei Ling, do you have something to share with us how Theosophy, our principles of Theosophy have helped you or being supportive in your life?
I find it's like honesty, like how you should be honest to what you like and what you don't like. So it's like sometimes we have other intentions that may not be true, but then we say it just to fit into our culture. Because even in my culture wise, it's like I would like to say things that make people happy, but that's not the truth because I don't want to get into conflicts. And when you start to be more and more honest, then you slowly find what is it within yourself to understand yourself better. So I'm still at the stage where I'm still knowing and trying to understand myself. So another one is maybe it's like being diligent. So it's like if you want something, you have to try hard, not in a hardworking way, but it's to be more wiser in spending your time. So that's what I learned from reading the text on like when you want something, you need enthusiasm and diligence to find out the truth yourself. So diligence means not really looking at one thing and just working hard, like really like how hard work is like really work on that manually and then all the time the same way. But it's not, it's more of like being diligent, being wiser at how you spend your time doing the same work but in many different ways, and also maybe improvising so that it works out for you and not always following one ways that can help you get there because you are just comfortable with it, but to be more flexible. Yeah.
Thank you so much. Thank you for sharing. Do you have some comment or questions to ask from each other?
Do you want to have this talk until 2 a.m. in the morning? I'm happy to do so. I'm going to ask you some very difficult question from a secret doctrine. Let's talk until 2 a.m.
I would love that. I really sincerely think we should take up secret doctrine and at least try to learn it. Secret doctrine or the letters, the Mahatma letters, two things that really put us like higher mind into work. Yeah. No, not like that. But I would love to some other time to do that. I just wanted to mention what you started, Leo, to answer Cheryl's questions. I had the same feeling like that when I'm like feeling like, oh, this is so hard and everything. I'm thinking also Blavatsky, like how, but also there's this Buddhist master Atisha, who is he went from India to Tibet 3 months through snow with a rocky road to the mountain. And they said if you go there to spread the Buddhist teachings, your lifespan will be like 10 years less than it would naturally. And he says, my life has no meaning on its own. So, and he went anyway. And thanks to him, Buddhist stayed in Tibet. And now it comes back from Tibet when it's degrees like elsewhere in the world. So like, but this was so beautiful. I'm thinking like, sometimes I'm having 24 or more hours flight and I'm so like tired and feel sick. And then I'm thinking, but I can sit there. I can kind of sleep. I can so many things, but to just keep walking on a really cold situation or like days and days and just this determination. And I'm thinking like, this is nothing compared to what those people have done before us. And that, for that, I'm really, really grateful that those teachers have done it. Otherwise, if they have not, we do not know those who have not done it. We actually don't know even all of those who have done it, but we know the teachings. And for that, I am so grateful. And I hope I'm able, and we all are, I hope we are all able to give something of that spark to others also and continue working together. And yeah.
I think that, you know, I agree. Like if we want to work together, we need to work on ourselves first. Yeah. The more we work on ourselves, the easier we can work as a group, because it will avoid unnecessary hassles and unnecessary frictions. Yeah.
Well, I think it's not so much about working on ourselves first. Right? While we work with each other, we do the work on ourselves at the same time. If not, we will never start. Because to work on ourselves to the point that we are perfect, it may take another million years.
I think also that we should do the same time working ourselves, and I very much like what you said about the service, that this is what really helps you to understand to understand yourself, that in a best possible way. I think it might be Blavatsky or somebody else who says, if you take out a weed in another garden, you help to have several weeds removed in your own garden. Yeah, and then metaphorically, I think it is very true. So do we have any last comments? Last to share?
Speak us.
Not comment, but just an appreciation to the panel, Leo, Francis, and Wei Ling today for their sharing.
Thank you, Gerald.
Thank you. Thank you, all. Thank you for
감사합니다.
Aitäh. Thank you so much. And in this series, we will see you next month. So bye. Love you.
I love you too.